Right, hello and welcome to episode 3 of Minechat. My name's Colin Gallagher and with me is Rob Newbury. Hello, Rob.
Hello.
And we're in a Minecraft world this week from Japan. So, Mr. Guenther, if you could just introduce yourself and tell us where we are, please.
Yeah, hello. My name's Alex Guenther. I'm a middle school MYP humanities teacher at Yokohama International School, and we're inside of a server space that I set up for my seventh grade classes. Actually, it's shared between me and my teaching partner Rebecca. One of her classes has also been using it, so it's three combined seventh grade classes. That's our whole seventh grade, and had basically some Renaissance and World Empires buildings constructed in here, and also anything else the students wanted to build. It's been open in the evenings only from 6 to 9 every day for the past 2 months or so, and some crazy, amazing things have happened. So here we are.
It's fantastic just looking around the different styles of buildings that have been going on, and you go around a different corner and there's a different style of architecture. So, how did you introduce it to the students? How did you kind of set it up for them?
Well, um, the whole thing started about a year ago. I kind of asked my administration in a proposal if we could possibly integrate Minecraft and humanities in the middle years program. And I found links to the curriculum, and there are some, there's mentions in MYP humanities documentation of things like using models and simulations to analyze things. And so I think I made a pretty compelling case for this sort of thing. And the school basically gave the go ahead, which is amazing and was unexpected, to get an account for every seventh grader and try to integrate it into humanities class. And our unit we had been doing in seventh grade was empires. So we talked about British Empire, Roman Empire, basically the mightiest world empires. And the time we started this project, we were moving into a Renaissance unit, and so we were talking about Renaissance architecture. And so, since both of those units were so heavy in architecture, I figured it was a perfect time to do a connected project with those. And so we have a very open-ended project that I designed, where students had to pick a Renaissance or some kind of world empire structure that they thought was interesting enough to design in Minecraft and then do a report on in the form of a screencast and video tour. And I kind of worked with them to find some buildings that were, more squarish if the students were hesitant, and I let them pick their own groups and work in groups together, although they had to do individual reports at the end. And so it was kind of a very open-ended, easy. Anyone could join at any kind of level of experience with Minecraft and pick a group and work with that group to make the structure. So we have it's not entirely Renaissance or any one set of empires. We have an eclectic mix that we ended up with. We've got the Arc de Triomphe, the Colosseum, as we see here,
Wow, it's
Hmm.
amazing.
and Big Ben, and some churches and cathedrals. And um, aside from that, though, we really felt that a lot of the learning that we ended up doing as a kind of a school community after we started this was not necessarily the academic side of the building, and it was more on how the students themselves organized their own kind of community after a lot of vandalism at the start, and working together to kind of make a peaceful space for themselves. Watching that kind of organically come together was, to me, a lot more interesting than seeing if they could research on the Colosseum and build it. So
Hmm.
I think the digital citizenship part of this was even more powerful than seeing how amazing their modeling skills were. So we had three sections of grade seven working kind of asynchronously only in the evenings. All this was built only from from 6 to 9 in the evenings. Um, and at the beginning, I had no plugins, no mods, no anything, and things were crazy.
Yeah.
and they basically had to kind of form their own. It was a, sort of a anarchic situation that grew some some semblance of government after a while. That we, the students petitioned to have certain rules and certain, and it was really not teacher driven. And so watching that community kind of coalesce was my favorite thing about this whole experience so far.
Yeah, that's amazing. That Colosseum is unbelievable. How long do you think
Yeah.
they took one group to build that?
Um, these guys, this was probably the largest group, and they're kind of the superstars. It's 4 or 5 boys who were also in an after school modeling club that's an after school activity I run, and so they were kind of the exemplar for the other students of cooperation and picking an ambitious task and sticking with it, and so in that sense they had some preparation in this after school club of mine and working together in Minecraft, and so yeah, they really um
Yeah,
it's a
they knocked it out of the park for
It's
sure.
huge. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
they're not satisfied with it though. They realize it's not to scale, and that it's they had trouble translating the circular form into the Minecraft.
Yeah.
Mm.
But so next time they would do it differently. And in their blog reflections, they all said we're not happy with how square it looks. um, yeah,
Yeah. So
So
yeah, go ahead,
sorry,
Rob. Sorry.
you get the students to blog while they're doing it, or afterwards, or how does the blogging play a part of it?
the this assignment was basically to build an yeah. Here's the Arc de Triomphe.
Mm.
It was basically to build the structure with your group and then make a screencast tour of it with historical information. That was kind of the
Nice.
and post it as a blog post with some a few paragraphs of text reflection as well. And so that was the kind of the submission of the project would be the students' blog post and a kind of a static screencast video they uploaded, which came in handy because there has been some vandalism in the past few weeks, and we had to, for example, the Arc de Triomphe, someone had a hack that could blow giant holes through a building. I don't
Jeez.
know what happened, but the students all had their screenshots and screencasts already in their blog posts, and so we've been able to work on when students have been early finishers in the classes in the last week. If somebody's finished, I'll say, okay, well, go fix that giant hole, Griefer blew in the Arc de Triomphe.
Yeah.
Look at so and so's blog post for the reference of what it used to look like.
Hmm.
It's everybody likes it. They enjoy repair work on these buildings. So.
So what building have we got over here? Over, if you can see where I'm going.
This huge thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
Sofia in Istanbul, they didn't quite replicate the outside with all the minarets and things, but the inside was quite spacious as the original.
Holy cow!
And see the marks here of someone has some kind of I believe the hack they're working on is called Nodus, Nodus, and somebody very recently ripped a hole through the Hagia Sophia here.
Wow.
And I think I found a plugin that is supposed to counter this, and we'll see what happens. But
Yeah, Rob and I talked about this last week, just to mention it again because it's a really good plugin, Core Protect. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's just basically you install it. You don't have to mess around with anything, any databases. You basically enable it, and then it starts recording stuff after you install it. And then if anything happens like this, then you like basically enable it. You go to it, and you right-click on a brick that used to be there, and it will say, okay, this brick was removed by such and such on at 7 p.m. on the 21st of February. So it's really good. Just it's not going to stop it from happening, but it's going to make people accountable.
Yeah.
It's really good.
great.
Has the,
Oh,
has there
sorry.
ever been anything? Has there ever been anything like this that students could actually create a world or create structures and then interact with them and walk around with them? Like, is there? I mean, Sims 3, Sim City. Like, I mean, these are the things that come to mind immediately. But even then, not on a scale like this. Like, this is. I mean, the kids can. This is a massive project. They look at the size of this place. This is taken hours that they've done, and they can walk around and enjoy the space afterwards. It's not just a external sort of representation of it. Like almost the same as a drawing a picture.
Right. I think that's the thing about Minecraft is that nothing has nothing has been before it that was the same, and nothing will after. I think.
Do you feel that way too, Alex? Do you feel like there's been anything before this? Like, what would kids do before this?
So it's really it's unique. I think I've done some like kind of CAD modeling, sketch type things before, and when you make a structure in most design programs, it's it's so sterile, and you have to go to great lengths to even sweep around something that you've made in a CAD program. And so the fact it's kind of like a basically a big a toy box that you then run around in as a character, it's so it's just so energizing to anyone who's in the space that you completely ignore, and you are not upset by things like vandalism or I think there's an element of drama to it that is actually enhances the excitement. And at the beginning, when I didn't have any controls on anything and no plugins, it was too crazy, and we had people dumping lava buckets and water buckets over
Yeah.
everybody constantly, and
Yeah.
a little too stressful. And so now I think we've got a pretty good medium where I've turned off a few things. That you can't do fire, lava, TNT, but people can go, run amok and run through people's cathedrals and blow some holes in the walls. But the fact that that could happen, I think the danger is actually part of the appeal. And I've loved watching the seventh graders create that drama. They love to, like, when there's a lot of people on, they'll, people say, let's play hide and seek, or, so and so's house is on, let's go put it out. And hey guys, I found a sign. Somebody dug a secret tunnel underneath such and such, and they put a sign that says you're all dead. Let's go check it out. And watching that treasure hunt craziness, I think that's a lot of the fun. So I've had to learn it myself as like a model maker, not to sweat things like this giant hole through the cathedral, because I know that it's actually like half of the fun is knowing we're all kind of messing around together in space, and so I really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the red brick building over here, Dira? I'm just kind of going over to it now.
While we're walking over there, Alex, here's a question for you. You play games. We've talked on Twitter about games, and I know you've struggled with some of the games that are in Japanese, like like Deus Ex and those kind of things. But as a person who plays games, how important do you think it is that teachers play games in order to enjoy this kind of thing in its fullest extent in the classroom? Like, do you feel like it's important that teachers actually are gamers? I mean, maybe that's I don't want to be snobbish about it, but do people need to be game players to enjoy this kind of thing in the classroom?
That's an interesting question. And by the way, this is I think it's called Hardwick Hall. It's a Elizabethan mansion that some students found from somewhere in England, and kind of went through with them, and we tried to find squarish monuments. We saw the Colosseum was not perfect, and so you have Arc de Triomphe, Big Ben, and this brick mansion. Recognize that's easier to build, and so we, instead of some of your rounder cathedrals, we settled on things like yeah. I don't think it necessarily has to have the gaming instinct or gaming experience, because I don't feel that the other teacher who teaches some of these kids, Rebecca, I don't think she's really a gamer. I don't want to insult her. I don't think she has a lot of game experience, but what she had was the willingness to kind of let kids show her what they like.
Mm.
So she had logged into Minecraft the first time, and she has a whole blog post about this experience, how much she got out of it. She let the kids show her what was going on and what they thought was cool about this, and not having ever stepped into a game before or even walked around in a 3D environment like this, how much fun they were having and how interesting it was to them. And I think that's something that even teachers who are gamers will have to as a skill because I think they are going to enjoy games differently than I did. Like I used to play text games and enjoy,
Yep.
like Zork.
Yep. Infocom.
Uh, you know, I have my kids love playing Call of Duty if they get the chance, which is doesn't do much for me. I think as a teacher, a few years down the line, I'm going to have to try to tap into some kind of gaming experience that the kids are having that I don't understand at all. So I think, I guess to answer the question, I don't think teachers have to be gamers, but I think you have to be able to recognize when people are having fun and try to bring that into what you're doing if you can. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same kind of fun you've had as a gamer or as a hobbyist or anything. It just has to be a certain openness to recognizing when people are having time. So, um,
Yeah, it's even more admirable for teachers who aren't gamers to actually get on board with something like this, you know, because we are gamers ourselves, but you know, my wife is not necessarily a gamer, but she jumped on board just like Rebecca did in your school because she saw the engagement and the fun that was going to happen with Minecraft, and yeah, all power to the teachers who do that for sure.
and I don't think myself as an older gamer or a person who's you know reaching middle age or anything, but watching how fast the students build and how fast they figure out the mechanisms of plugins and things like that. I have to realize at some point to myself, I'm not going to know everything they're doing. I just have to trust that they will be able to turn it to the purposes of good and not evil at some point. And so that's been an interesting transition for me as a gamer because I used to try to do programming and make my own games and feel like I was in control of everything. But like students today, there were some kids in my room after school and they had like a last airbender mod for Minecraft where you have powers if you're like the water airbender and you're halfway in the water, you can shoot this sort of water spell at people. I don't know how people modified Minecraft to do these things.
Yeah.
Creators figured out how to hack their Minecraft Java files or whatever to do. I just have to kind of sit back and try to guide them to using it towards something scholastic. Kind of shift in my thinking.
Mm-hmm.
hmm So after you did the project with your students, you basically just you left the world open for them just as a place to go.
Yeah, this whole project kind of finished about a month ago, and they all made really great blog posts about their Renaissance or Empire structure. And I haven't looked at this for like a month, I would say, and it's been on in the evenings. And I'm pretty sure that 4 or 5 students have been coming on every night, and there's 10 or 15 others who come on every once in a while. And they built some stuff that has really been amazing to me. There's been a lot of pixel art, like we have a giant Pikachu.
Yeah, I saw that.
And all this Mario and Angry Bird stuff, and so that has been cool to see. There's a lot of structures like up in the sky, like houses and things, and stuff that was not there a month ago. And so I'm just going to keep this open, I think, in the evenings until the next time I think of a project that could be applicable.
Yeah.
We'll go from there. So that's another one of my favorite things about this is having this space that could be static throughout the year. That's not necessarily academic. It's kind of an in-between space that is not entirely scholastic. It's not entirely adult. It's not entirely student. It's kind of an extension of grade 7, kind of like as their playground. And at the end of the year, I'll be interested to see what happens. We have problems with vandalism. You saw the holes in the cathedral, but that's part of the fun and part of the learning, actually. And yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's definitely part of the learning. Yeah, we had this conversation before about digital citizenship and about how this kind of thing, it really teaches kids how to confront people and deal with these issues and resiliency. It's like, okay, somebody beat my stuff up or broke a hole in it or whatever, I'll just fix it. It's not a big deal, And, it's an interesting take on it that I don't think anybody would have expected.
It's great just to have the space here for them to come. It's just this in between space where they can just do as they feel, and sometimes that'll be a bad thing maybe ethically, but they'll learn from it. To have they come to you with like complaints since the project is finished, just to say, well, these holes have appeared and such did this and such did that, and are you handling that at all? Are you managing that and bringing it to the class's attention, or are you just gonna kind of let it kind of organically evolve and see what happens?
I think um, somebody, someone found this ability to knock really big holes in things, and that it just happened within the last week or so. And I'm working on it, and I did get some people saw that and were upset, but until that happened just a couple days ago, I think this has been kind of chugging along peacefully for a month or so without I haven't even looked at this, like I said, in a month or so. And before January, when we were kind of in the middle of projects, the students actually called a meeting. Two of the students decided they were sick of what was happening, and they said, okay, everyone, tomorrow at recess, we're going to meet, all seventh graders. And as teachers, completely stood on the sidelines and watched as a couple kids organized a meeting where they stood up at the whiteboard, and were like, okay, how do you feel when your building has been griefed? What does that mean? What do you think about that? And again, watching that kind of emergence of a sort of, an online version of, we don't punch and kick each other in the hallways at school.
Mhm.
Watching the online digital version of civility emerge from the bottom up was one of the most amazing things I've seen. So yeah, I've never seen seventh graders call like a meeting before for anything, and they did it over Minecraft. They were tired of griefing, and they wanted to talk to everyone together and say, guys, let's do better.
It definitely seems to be a common denominator in each school that has Minecraft, is this, I don't know, it just seems to be a heightened awareness of right and wrong and morality, and I think it's a great learning experience for them.
Yeah, kind of an accelerated version in Minecraft of the same behaviors that are beneficial or detrimental in places like Facebook or other places. You really see it all comes out here. If someone is a jerk or a bully, or it manifests itself in Minecraft super fast, and people grappling with that stuff.
Well, it's amazing. It's the first time I've kind of wandered around to like an academic middle school project in Minecraft, and that's just it's a tad different than elementary school worlds that I've been around. Just I think due to the sheer scale and planning that have gone into the historical buildings. I think we might wrap it up here. I have you two in my sights here, so that'll be a good way to end it. Alex, thank you very much for coming to our little vodcast this week, and thanks for having us in your world. And hopefully, if we're still running next year, we might be able to see this world in progress as it goes on in your grade 7 class.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks a lot. This is a lot of fun.
All right. Until next time. Adios.